What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, it is me. It's me, Ted Head here, the host of the Wrestling Matters podcast, the creator of the Wrestling Matters podcast, in fact. And I'm here with another stream. But don't worry if you don't see this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it on the Wrestling Matters channel because it'll be up there later on. So whether you're here on the stream, welcome. Whether you're not, if you're seeing this right now, hope you enjoy what's about to take place. I've got a lot of things to talk about, i.e., the Battleground review. Now, before I start, I was going to do this during the week, but I thought I'll save it. Wait until it comes onto this live stream. I want to start with an apology. Now, this past week, oh boy, which has been the story of my life when it comes to computers, trust me. I was watching Monday Night Raw, which I will talk about a little bit after I've done with the Battleground review, because there's a couple of things I want to talk about that involving Monday Night Raw. But I was watching Monday Night Raw, and on the morning of July 21st, as I was watching it, the computer I was using, this is a new computer, by the way, that I'm using. The computer that I was using, the old one, the hard drive decided to conk out. Yeah. Fucking hard drives. It's supposed to be the previous hard drive that I got that broke, and the one that I got replacement, was supposed to be better than the one I previously broke. Turns out it wasn't, as I found out on the morning of July 21st. 4 o'clock in the morning, the thing conked out, and I had no computer. But I didn't let that bother me. I waited. I got my computer, and that's why I've got this new computer now. Although I will still have the other one at some point as well, because I'll be using that for editing and producing. I'm just looking for ways to stop the hard drive thing. Although this one I didn't have any problems with. At least I thought I didn't, and I thought I wouldn't. This hard drive decided to conk out on its own. You know, what can you do? It just went boom, conked out. So I had to, do something about it. Of course. Paid £80 to get it mended and everything, and now I've got a new one, a brand new computer, so everything's still back to normal. The normal service is resumed. I managed to get the ICW podcast and the original podcast out before that even happened, but the Progress Wrestling one, there has been a delay on that, and I'm getting that out ASAP, so that's going to be out at some point. But July 29th, the Progress Wrestling podcast will be back to normal, and I will have Chapter 5 review out for you on that day. So help me God. But that's what I get when I trust somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, I was recommended to get the hard drive that I got, and if I knew it was going to conk out on me the way it did, I wouldn't have got it. But you don't know that. You think it's going to work, and then it conks out the way it does. So I apologize. I've been catching up all week. It is now July 25th as I'm doing this. I've been catching up all week on the things that I've conked out and everything. I'll be back to normal. I'm fighting it. And also with my Games Matter channel as well. More on that later. But anyway, to the main talking point of this whole stream video thing that I am recording, and that is Battleground. Pretty good pay-per-view. I will say I've seen better, in my opinion. Kicked off with Truth and Barrett on the kickoff show, and thank fucking God Barrett won. Because I watched a review video during the week on NoDQ.com, and Jeff Meacham said if Wade Barrett had lost that match, that it'd be best off firing him. Which is true. I mean, the guy wins King of the Ring. He has to put his crown on the line against R-Truth on the kickoff show. R-Truth wins, and he becomes the king of the ring. Really? But thank God, Wade Barrett won, and hopefully, and now I think that was the last match between these two, so hopefully this feud will end, and hopefully Wade Barrett will go on and do great things and become Intercontinental Champion and make the most of this King of the Ring crown that he's got. Because, whatever happened to the days when King of the Ring used to push you? Used to push that competitor. You win the King of the Ring. Say Brock Lesnar, for example, back in, I believe it was 2002. He was the last person to win King of the Ring on pay-per-view. And I've mentioned this many times on Sunday Segway podcast. Last person to win King of the Ring on pay-per-view. 2 months later, you got an undisputed title shot and won. You know, whatever happened to that? You know, and just before that, though, he got an Intercontinental Championship against the then champion, Rob Van Dam. You know, so he was getting that push. Not that he wasn't getting the push anyway. King of the Ring was the icing on the cake for him. But you look at the other people that have won King of the Ring. You know, the Owen Harts of the world. You know, God rest his soul. You know, you got Stone Cold, Triple H, Bret Hart. I believe he won it twice. But he was the first guy to win it on pay-per-view. You know, and all these other people that got pushed. I think the only one that didn't get pushed properly, at least, was King Mabel in '95. He did get a title shot, but he didn't win it. Because back then, Diesel was... sorry, I got distracted there a little bit. Because back then, Diesel was hot. You know, he was a hot champion back then. And obviously, he was McMahon's champion. But other than that, hopefully, this Wade Barrett will get what rightfully and so richly deserves. And that's title shots and push. Because boy, does he need them. And I will go on record and saying this right now. I discussed this on the Sunday Segway Wrestling podcast. Fame, who came on the podcast, you can check out, he's got a YouTube channel somewhere. I think it's Fame Black, I think his name is. He said that we shouldn't drop. We had this discussion on there what pay-per-view we should drop and we should bring back the King of the Ring. But he said too much too soon. In my opinion, they should bring back the King of the Ring, drop Money in the Bank, and put Money in the Bank back where it belongs, in my opinion. WrestleMania. Because let's face it, it was made for that pay-per-view. Am I right? I mean, come on. It was made for that pay-per-view. I mean, I believe it was Chris Jericho that came up with the idea, if I remember correctly. I believe it was, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Chris Jericho that came up with the idea for it, for the Money in the Bank. But yeah, that should be back on WrestleMania show. That should be a WrestleMania thing, man. I mean, you still got a year to go. You know, you still got a year to use it. You're not waiting an extra couple of months. You know, you go there, you can do it in WrestleMania still. But after WrestleMania, it'll be ended. Then hell, you win it on the WrestleMania night and cash it on that WrestleMania day. You know, it's a simple thing, simple logic. Yeah. Apologies, guys, if I'm looking down all the time and I'm not looking straight at the camera because I've got some things going on. So I apologize for that. Now, we've got away from Wade Barrett and Truth. Let's talk about the Divas match. Is it wrong that this was the best match? One of the best matches on the card. I love it. I love it. And the fact that Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and I believe it was Brie Bella. The revolution's beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Like I've said on many podcasts, there is women's wrestling in WWE. But up until this point, it was in NXT. Now NXT, the girls are on NXT, and it seems that the Divas division is getting a good swift kick in the ass. And boy, does it need it. I will say it's a little late, but, you know, boy, does it need it. And the match ended. It was a good match, good little triple threat match for what it was. And the match ended with Charlotte getting the submission, unlocking in the figure 8 lock. Almost said figure 4 there, but it's not. It's the figure 8 lock and getting the victory. And that just culminates what I've been saying all this time. Because although Sasha Banks is good, the Divas are dead, women's wrestling is here. The women are here, basically. Divas are dead, the women are here. Shout out to Dave Anderson on that one. Now, it just culminates, like I said, go back to what I was saying, you know, Charlotte is the future of the Divas division. You heard this here. Charlotte is the future. Period. You know, she in my opinion, is the woman, you know, the woman who can carry that, you know, and maybe bring some credibility back to it. Because no offense to the Bella twins, I'm done with the Bellas. You know, I'm done. You know, Mrs. Cena, the future Mrs. Cena and Mrs. Danielson, you know, I'm done. You know, and I still don't get to this day why they put Alicia Fox with them. You know, The Bella twins, the Bella Team Bella. You know, that's a case of WWE not knowing what the fuck to do with Alicia Fox. Oh yeah, we'll just put it with Bella twins. What? Makes no sense. But awesome triple threat match, and glad Charlotte won. I loved it. I'll go on to this one. PTP retaining the tag titles against New Day. I don't like New Day. I am very glad about this. In my opinion, Primetime Players are one of the teams that, along with the Usos, are deserving tag team champions, in my view. And thank the good Lord that they lost this match the way they did. New Day lost this match, and thank the good Lord they did, because Primetime Players are deserving champions, and New Day just flat out suck. And like I said, going back to NoDQ.com's Aaron Rift and Jeff Meacham reviewing it, I watched that this week, and Jeff Meacham, I remember Jeff Meacham saying that he said his son only likes New Day because of Kofi Kingston. Well, let's face it, if you had to pick, and I agree with what he said, if you had to pick one person out of that team, that's the star of that team, is Kofi Kingston. I mean, Big E hasn't done that much since he came up from NXT. He was a great NXT champion and a good Intercontinental champion for what it was. But has he done anything great up here? In my opinion, no. NXT was his place that he shone. And don't get me started on Xavier Woods. I mean, I'm sorry, but that guy hasn't been relevant since since he was in TNA, Consequences Creed. And he's just annoying to me. I'm sorry. I know Aaron likes him and that, but I agree with Jeff Meacham. It's the New Day sucks. New Day sucks. New Day sucks. I just can't. I don't like New Day. Kofi needs to break away from them and get his push. But I know he's not going to get it, because let's face it, they were put together. It was like, we got Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Biggie Langston. We don't know what to do with them. Oh, let's just put them together. Doesn't work. Now, before I get to the main three, that were the headline acts, I'll get to Randy Orton and Sheamus. Good way to kick off the pay-per-view, I thought. Okay. But they should have made this probably a little bit later, because let's face it, the only reason to put this match together was probably to give Sheamus something to do, and the fact to bring Orton back. And what a better way to bring Orton back from his hiatus, his injury, a newly engaged Randy Orton, I might add, to put him in a match against Sheamus and put him against in his hometown, because that's what it was. It was his hometown, quite frankly. So I'm just getting my phone. It was his hometown. That's the reason why this match happened the way it was and everything. And Randy Orton winning, it was pretty predictable. You know what was going to happen. It wouldn't have made any sense if Sheamus beat. It wouldn't have made any sense if Sheamus beat Orton. The way he did and that. And it just didn't work. It just didn't work. It was an okay match for what it was, but when it comes to shows, in my opinion, and Raw shows, they put on better. They put on more epic matches to start a pay-per-view off than that one. It was okay, but I couldn't understand why it happened, because, like I said, it was in Orton's hometown, and he got the win, and hopefully he will get a push now to go big and everything, because quite frankly, it was a different time and era. But the last time before this, the last time I remember, damn that ice cream van, the last time I remember Sheamus and Orton taking place, the crowd crapped on it. And I think the crowd got into this one a little bit, obviously because it was Orton's hometown and everything. But the last time Orton and Sheamus went one-on-one that I remember, the crowd absolutely shite on it. I mean, it was so bad they even thought that, like I said, they even thanked Big Show when they came out, when he knocked them both out. But it was an okay start to the pay-per-view. It has been better. Now to Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Before I get to the main two, this was okay. I really don't get why people are booing Roman Reigns because, in my opinion, he's earned respect. I mean, this motherfucker took a beating at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar and won. And got where he wants. And he stood up to Brock Lesnar, even though Seth Rollins came down. He won that respect. But I don't get it. Why? I mean, all right, it's not, people are into, and the crowd were definitely into Bray Wyatt that night, no doubt. And the match ended with Bray Wyatt getting the victory, all thanks to a mystery guy who came out, super kicked, kicked Reigns in the face. Turned out it was Luke Harper. The Wyatts are back together. That's right. -1, though. And I'll get to that in a second. But it's good to see them back. They should never have broken up in the first place. And he even said it himself in a promo on Raw. The family's back together. And thank God, quite frankly, because although there was a start of it before Rowan got injured, but the man's back in there as well. The leader's back in town. Hopefully when Rowan comes back, everything will go in. But I'll discuss more about this when I'm done with the other two, because I've got a lot to discuss about this as well, involving the two main talking points and what's to come at SummerSlam and on Raw as well. So I'll get to that in a second. US title. Pretty predictable match, because we all know Owens wins one, Cena wins one. Are WWE ballsy enough to let Cena lose? Nah. He's their Superman. He's their guy. I don't know. There's a lot of ways this could have done with this. They should have set this up for SummerSlam. This would have been better off being at SummerSlam, in my opinion. But they ended it. Hopefully, Kevin Owens will go on and do, have bigger feuds with bigger people. I mean, please put him in a feud with Cesaro. That would be epic in itself. There's rumors going around, there's talk going around, there's going to be a fatal four-way match for the US title involving Rusev, Cesaro, Owens, and Cena, which would make sense. I would be down to see that. But, I think they ended this feud a little bit too early for me. They should have kept this going on right the way through. They should have ended it at SummerSlam, in my view. But, it was a good match. Not their best match out of the three, but, it was a great match. Classic, in my opinion. It was a classic. Was it their best? Probably not. But, kudos to the both of them, because they did put on a good match. And back-to-back to steal the show. Was it the match of the night? No. For me, I don't know. That's something for you to decide, quite frankly. I can't get that. It wasn't their best match. It probably was match of the night. It's an arguable point on this one, but it wasn't their best match that they had of the series. And like I say, kudos to John Cena for bringing some prestige back to that US title. Hopefully they can do big things. But like I said, I'll talk more about this, because there's another point as well that they're trying to do with Cena. I don't know. We'll talk about it later. I'll talk about it in a second. Now for the main talking point. Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar. It was basically, these two beat the piss out of each other, quite frankly. Not putting it mildly, these two absolutely destroyed one another. And it all ended with 13 suplexes on Seth Rollins. 3 less than what Cena got at SummerSlam. 13 suplexes on Rollins. Gets an F5. Goes for the cover. Lights go out. Lights come back on. Undertaker's there. Looks like the dead man wants his payback for what happened at WrestleMania. He comes in, tombstones, grabs Lesnar by the throat. I believe he chokeslammed him. Tombstoned him twice. Tombstone City, bitch. Yeah. But the arguable point is the ending did not have a finish. That was the finish to end the pay-per-view. Could they have done it? I mean, there was a lot of talk, like I said, going back to the review video that I saw with No DQ. They should have waited. They believe they should have waited for Lesnar to win the title and have the Undertaker fight Lesnar at SummerSlam for the title, and then that would be the perfect revenge. Yeah, it could. It could. That would have been the perfect revenge. That would have been the best way to do it. I would agree with that. But there's also, this is a good way to do it as well, because Lesnar beat Taker for the streak, end of the streak, and what better way to do it? Because instead of having Taker coming out and challenging him to a match, well, I'll show up at Battleground and cost him the world title. You know, it's great. And I don't agree with the ending. The ending should have been a finish to the ending. I don't know why they do no finishes nowadays. I mean, as long as it makes sense at the end of the day, but you know, it made no sense for the finish. They should have had a finish before it, before the Undertaker finale, in my opinion. But hey, it was what it was. But that's what led to Monday Night Raw. Now, before I do that, I'm going to rate. It was a 4.5 out of 5 for me. For the pay-per-view. It was okay. Maybe a 4 out of 5 for it. It was okay. Could have been better. There's a few things on there that could have been better. The finish of the main event as well. But all in all, it was a good pay-per-view. Now to main talking point of Raw. Fallout from what happened on Battleground led to Monday Night Raw. Taker comes out and explains why he did it. But then Heyman comes out and shoots his mouth off, as only he can do, and mentions the streak, which pissed the Undertaker off, and that's why the Undertaker said, "Enough's enough. I want revenge." And then, as Paul Heyman probably delivers one of his best promos he's ever delivered, Taker, let's go out again. Taker comes out and scares the shit out of Heyman. You can hear him in the corner. Please, please, God help me. And then Brock's music hits, and all hell fucking breaks loose. Because what I saw Monday night was probably the greatest segment in the history of Raw ever. Definitely the best segment on Raw in a while. Because it was just a straight up fight, straight up brawl. Security came down, broke it up. You needed more than that. And then they emptied the fucking locker room. They just wanted to get at each other. I felt these two on Raw legitimately wanted to kill each other. And it was fucking great. It really was. A few points to it, though. I mean, you could hear what happened and see what happened and everything. But the biggest thing that annoyed me about the whole thing is, all right, it was going to be carnage. We all knew it was going to be a brawl. We all knew when the minute Lesnar came in, all hell was going to break loose. And obviously Triple H and Stephanie didn't buy the fact that Lesnar wasn't in the building when Heyman arrived. Lesnar was in the building. He wanted to get his hands on Taker. But the biggest thing that pissed me off a little bit is how much of pussies Cole, JBL, and Byron Saxton were. You know, the fight didn't end up, it was chaos. It was chaotic. But I didn't understand why they didn't leave. Because the fight never went onto the announce table. And the minute Lesnar's hit, you could hear Cole shouting, "I'm out of here." And then JBL and Byron Saxton going, "I'm out of here too." You know, if I'd have been Triple H, I'd have been fuming with that. You know, because that's them leaving the job. Obviously, they wanted to get somewhere safe in case it did happen. They wanted to be prepared for it. I get that. But the fight never took place on the announce table. You know, the basically fight just ended up in the ring. Lesnar got free. They're fighting each other on the ropes. And, you know, it made no sense for them three to leave like that. And it made them three look like even bigger fools. Not that Cole and JBL needed any help in looking like fools. But, you know, it made Saxton look like an idiot too. I mean, one of them should have they should have stayed and called the action. And to be honest with you, I'm glad they didn't, because it was probably, like I said, one of the best segments on Raw. But and which it continued backstage as well, because you could see Lesnar walking backstage. You could hear you could see it in his lips as well. He was like going, "I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him." Everybody was trying to calm him down, and then he saw Taker. It was like, and then he tackles Taker, and Taker's like steaming him on the back and everything, punching him on the back. And it was, and then they eventually break it up again, and then Lesnar, the crazy fucker he is, just flips the table and then attacks him again. Oh God, it was the best segment in the history of Raw, bar none, for me. It was just great. That's how Raw should be. Shit like that. If you're gonna make it 3 hours, at least make it more fucking entertaining. But oh man, I marked out at that so much. It was fucking just amazing. You know, and that made me believe. I questioned this rematch that we're going to do, but that made me believe that this match, the main event, Undertaker versus Lesnar at SummerSlam, may be worth watching. Because if that's any installment of what's going to happen at SummerSlam, you know, Brooklyn better watch out, because they've got hell coming. You know, it's going to be a straight up fight at SummerSlam, and to be honest with you, I really am looking forward to it, and I hope it lives up to the hype. And I hope it continues to live up to the hype, because I really enjoyed what happened on Raw this past week involving that little segment. Like I said, I don't understand why Cole, Saxton, and JBL left like pussies. But hey, I didn't care about that mainly, but it made them three look like complete idiots, in my opinion. Not that they needed any help. But like I said, kudos to both men. I absolutely enjoyed that. And that's what basically saved Raw for me. Although Raw was good, that made it great, in my view. Now, for the Wyatt family situation. Read on the dirt sheets, there was all this talk about Sting coming back for SummerSlam. After his little fiasco, his bullshit at WrestleMania with Triple H, which he should never have lost. In my view. They were supposed to have the idea for SummerSlam involving the Wyatts is the Wyatt family, Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, I'm guessing Eric Rowan, against Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Sting. Now, I've thought about this because Eric Rowan, as we know it right now, Eric Rowan is out. He's out of action. We don't know what the hell he's going to do. And at the moment right now, you've got no partner for them. And I've read on the dirt sheets for this. They're going to make a new member. Will they bring in a new member? I think the idea is to bring in a new member for the Wyatt family to have this six-man tag. Because Eric Rowan is out. When he's coming back, we don't know. You know, I hope he's back in time for SummerSlam. But at the point right now, I have no idea. Nobody has any idea whether or not he's coming back. And the idea, like I say, is for Sting to be in the six-man tag. But from what I got on Raw this past week, maybe they could be better off doing a tag match. You know, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt against Reigns and Dean Ambrose. But where would that leave Sting? You know, what could they do with Sting? If that's the case, because like I said, there's talk of Sting coming for SummerSlam. They want Sting to wrestle at SummerSlam. I mean, it must have been a pain in the ass for them to even convince Taker to do it. I mean, you've seen it on the Twitter page with his weightlifting and that. Where does that leave Sting, though? Will this six-man tag take place? Will WWE change it and go with a tag match? Because at the moment right now, I can't see who would fit in the Wyatt family for me. I mean, I read on the dirt sheets a couple of months ago that it was going to be Bo Dallas. They were looking to bring in Bo Dallas, which would make sense. But bringing in Bo Dallas with this Bo Leave bullshit, that would ruin the gimmick of the Wyatt family, unless they change Bo Dallas. But where would they leave? Where would this leave Sting? At the moment, right now, all I can see is a tag match between Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. where would this leave Sting? What matches could Sting have at SummerSlam if they wanted to bring him in for SummerSlam? Because at the moment, right now, the idea is to get him in that six-man tag, to have a six-man tag involving the Wyatt family, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. But who could they bring in to fill in for Eric Rowan? Because we all know Eric Rowan is the missing member of the Wyatt family at this point in time because he's out injured. Where would that leave Sting if they have to go with it? It's a lot of questions of, how this would take place. And now that's, Undertaker seems to be back for SummerSlam. Will he be back anything after that? I mean, where would Sting... I don't know. I question where Sting has a future in the WWE at this point. I mean, because he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania, which was complete bullshit. Should never have happened. I mean, his first time at WrestleMania and they have him lose. That made no sense. In my opinion, they basically buried him at WrestleMania, and they wanted to bring him back maybe to get something going with him. I don't know what the hell this is going to do. All I know is this: the idea is for it to be a six-man tag. That's the idea. After what I saw on Raw, considering there's no there's no Eric Rowan, sorry, I'll be best off making this a tag match. Harper, Riot versus Reigns and Dean Ambrose. I'll be best off making it a tag match. So, but that's my question. Where's Sting going to be in this? Where does Sting lie? It's all these questions. I mean, you never know with WWE nowadays. I could be talking about this and the whole thing could fucking change in the coming weeks. But just a lot of questions, a lot of ideas of what could work for SummerSlam. But at the moment right now, they'd be best off going with a tag match after what I saw on Raw, because a tag match would work better than a six-man. Just to stop, maybe delay the six-man and have it on a different pay-per-view. There you go. Have it on a different pay-per-view. Have it on maybe maybe Survivor Series. Hold it for a Survivor Series. That's the best way they could do it at this point in time. Have a tag match and then have the six-man, a possible six-man tag, should there be no Survivor Series tag matches at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. At least you can bring him back early for that and have him at Night of Champions. Actually, not Night of Champions, preferably Hell in a Cell. But at the moment right now, it'll be best off going to be a tag match at SummerSlam. That's just my opinion. Hopefully it will change. Hopefully we will get to see Sting at SummerSlam. But I just can't see it happening at this moment in time. I hope it doesn't. I hope he does wrestle at SummerSlam. But we'll wait and see. And like I say, 4.5 out of 4.5 to 4 out of 5 for the Battleground pay-per-view. Pretty good show. And like I say, guys, I apologize for everything. I'm playing catch-up all week. The Progress Wrestling Podcast will be out ASAP. Check it out on SoundCloud, OSW TV, YouTube as well, the Wrestling Madness channel. Big shout-out to everybody. If you came here, there's one person that's watching this right now, the viewer. Thank you for coming to check this out. If you missed anything, which I'm sure you have, you've just seen this now, check it out on the Wrestling Madness channel. Subscribe to the Wrestling Madness channel as well for extra wrestling content and weekly podcasts as well, because that's where you get to see and hear the Wrestling Madness podcast hosted by moi. That's right. And created by me too. It's 3 podcasts, ICW, Progress Wrestling, and the normal format on the Monday. So be sure to check that out as well. I'll be back next week on these streams, but I'll be back a little bit late because I've got something to do on that day. I'll be back on the Saturday next week, hopefully with some things to talk about. If not, it is what it is. But we'll wait and see. But hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you didn't see the stream, don't worry. It's going to be on the Wrestling Madness channel. So be sure to check it out. But until then, guys, make sure you check out the Wrestling Madness channel for all good wrestling content, including podcasts. And my name is Anthony Walker saying, see ya.